Hello and welcome to episode 36 of Need a Miracle Sports and Gambling Podcast with your hosts Tracy
and Josh.
Miracle. Today we'll be covering the divisional round of the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, and that's going to be brought to you guys by Auto Wash, Car Wash out of Canandaigua, New York, showing some love from the 585. They sponsor everything we do. We appreciate that. For you guys that are just tuning in, are not avid listeners, make sure you guys like, subscribe. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Anchor app, Need a Miracle Sports and Gambling. Also, for you guys that haven't been here in a while, make sure if you want any merchandise to get a hold of us. We got hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, crew neck sweaters, baseball caps, snapbacks. So make sure you guys get a hold of us. And you got anything you want to start with?
I got a couple things, but first I want to bring to attention that something's missing. Is something missing? Oh, it's his Washington football team gear. That's what it is. He doesn't have it on this.
It's right here. Still on the table.
It's a little weird. No, I'm just kidding. Like I said, they had a hard-fought game last week, and I don't need any bad juju on me because first I'm going to get into my hockey bets, and then I'm going to tell you why I did a 14 parlay, threw it all in the house, and I'm going to tell you why. But here it is. Rangers money line, Sharks money line, Flames money line, Bruins money line. I went 3-0 last night. I'll probably go 0-4 tonight, the way things have been going lately for me. But I think I can't remember what I took last night. It's too far in the past. But Islanders.
Oh, you took Toronto money line.
Yeah, they won, and then someone else late won for me. Islanders are playing the Rangers. I like the Rangers in that game.
Philly. It was Philly. You picked Philly to cover.
They won by 3.
That's what I said. You picked them to cover, and they did it.
Yeah. Rangers play the Islanders tonight. I like the Rangers. I can't really remember who the Sharks play. The Flames. I got the Bruins. Like I said, they play. That's tough. I didn't write that part down, but just take them. Because listen to me, folks. I'm a little flustered, as you can see. I can't win a bet lately, to be honest. I mean, my bet spurts is doing all right, but just anything I touch personally, I mean, teams are just coming back. Like, my team, I bet I'll be up 12. I'll just fucking measly take them to, like, win the game or the quarter. No, we're just going to score 14 straight on you or 12 straight, tie the game up. So today, I was driving. In my 25 years of life, this has never happened to me. Ever. 25 years. Almost 26.
25 long years.
Going 40 miles an hour. I look up above a little bit as I'm driving, and I see some birds. And it took a shit right on my fucking window. So you know what? I think that should end the streak. I think my losing streak should just be over now. So I'm throwing the house on this parlay. I hope it hits. That's all I got.
All right. Hit it off. Mine and Tracy's football records. He's smacking me right now. I'm 115, 138, 9. He's 122, 131, and 9. Yeah, so that went to shit fast for me. And without further, you got anything over there, Jake?
Sam Greco asked Ravens money ML, which I'm assuming is money line.
Yeah, it's money line, Jake.
With a question mark.
Ask him if he wants his fucking neck broken.
All right. Well, Sam, that's the second game. We're gonna get to that. So hopefully you're still with us when we do. I just want to say one thing before we jump into this. This weekend, for me, is going to be all coaching. I mean, these are very good teams. It should be an exciting weekend. Very good coaches. You know, there's not really a downfall. You know, when I was going over these games, it's like these teams, you know what I mean? Everyone has a downfall, but then that other team combats the downfall, and then they got the one up here. So this is just a crazy weekend. Hopefully, you know, we can steer you guys in the right direction. We're going to get started right now with the Rams at Green Bay. -6.5. Green Bay is -6.5. For me, this is a huge matchup. I mean, you got the best cornerback in the league against right now in the league, the best wide receiver in Devontae Adams with one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league right now. Probably going to be the MVP. And then, you know, I saw Donald is playing. He's healthy.
Don't know about the health, but he is playing.
But he's playing, yeah. But then you got Cooper Kupp on the other side of the ball, questionable. Cam Akers and the Rams' run game against this Green Bay defense might be my deciding factor right here. I mean, this Green Bay defense has been getting gashed in the run game. And it hasn't been, you know, a thing that just started as of late. It's been consistent all season. And it seems like whenever the Rams are able to run the ball, they're able to keep close games. They're able to play teams tight. They're able to score. They're able to run their little options that they run, RPOs they run, their little screens because you're stacking the box. And for me, this is a team that already can't stop the run as it is. I'm not saying the Rams are going to win this game. I am taking the Rams to cover, though. I'm taking the Rams. Give me the 6.5 points. It's either going to be do or die for me. I mean, Green Bay could flip the switch and put up 50 points in this game by themselves. But for me, I really think Akers is just very hot right now, and I think that this is a defense, you know what I mean, that we've been saying all year is getting gouged for big chunk plays on the ground, and I just see that being a carryover.
Yeah, you got anything else?
Also, just real quick, while I'm on this, I love the over 45.5 in this game. Also, I love it. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think you're probably going to see about a 35-31 game in there. 35-30 game in there somewhere, and I really think that this game's going to be high scoring.
This for me was very, very tough. The line's pretty high. The Rams getting 6.5 is quite significant. I didn't think it would be like this. I think the Goff injury plays big into that. But I think the Packers are just a hungrier team. Not hungrier, but I just think they're hungrier. They're one of the best, if not the best team in the NFC. I think they're destined to go to the NFC Championship game. I don't think Rodgers is going to drop the ball in this one. And like I said, it was a really tough decision because, like you said, I mean, they're hanging 6.5 out there. The Packers got to win by a touchdown, but I just feel like it's going to happen.
Two young coaches.
Yeah, last week the Rams really exploited the Seahawks for two things that the Packers are a little more complete on. The Seahawks have a really bad secondary and a really bad O-line. And I think Donald just blew up that O-line. I do not think it's going to happen as much against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is going to have time. Another thing, though, on the Rams side is the fact that it's Ramsey versus Adams. I mean, that could be a wash. You could see a stat line for Adams, maybe 4 or 5 catches for 35 to 50 yards. Like that probably will happen, to be honest. So MVS, what's his name? Valdez-Scantling. Marquez, yes. Thank you. And I think Tony Tanyan, is going to have a big game too, the tight end. And I think those guys are just going to really eat against the rest of this Rams secondary. Like you said, Goff, still a question mark, did not look good last week. Completed some passes for big yardage. But again, I think that the Packers secondary is better than that. And like you said, they did run the ball well. But I think the Packers can kind of play a stack box and play against that. Because Goff, I don't think is going to really kill him with his arm. I don't think he can kill him with his arm due to the injury. So I think that's a huge matchup to look out for. Everything else, I just see the Packers going the Packers' way. I really do. I don't, you know what I mean? And I've been taking them all year, so it was really tough decision here. But I just got to kind of ride with the bandwagon. The fuck you tour is still on board.
Like I said, man, every game for me this week was tough. So I'm just this is what I really felt. This is after looking it over. And remember, these aren't teams that we're saying is going to win or lose a game. We're talking about a spread here and covering it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be close.
So,
but like I said, I feel like the Packers can pull away more than I think the Rams keep it close.
Yep. All right, Sam. This one's for you. Got anything, Jake?
Yeah, Greg Farkas asked, "What do the Browns have to do to beat the Chiefs? Who needs to be a difference maker?" And Goldo Torres asked, "Look for Diggs to have 120 receiving yards, 10 catches. Tell him it's Chris Torres."
Yeah, I know who it is.
I like everything that everyone just said there, and I like the questions. Let's hop into this Bills game, Greg, and then we got you. We got you on the Browns game right after. To answer Sam's Greco off the bat, Bills money line.
He said Ravens money line.
I thought you said Bills.
Ravens.
Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I was gonna say I don't hate either team. It's really gonna be what you feel in this game. I'm not about to get roasted on my own podcast here by all the Bills fans. So we'll just go through this real carefully, and I'll try to walk on the eggshells as best I can here. No, let's rock into it. Ravens at Bills. Bills are -3 at home. For me, I'm gonna take the Bills, and reason being, I'm gonna get through it. I got a whole list here for you guys.
It better be, because I'm fucking sitting next to you. I'm strangle you.
First off, for the Bills to win this game, they're gonna have to beat the man defense of Baltimore. Diggs and company, they're gonna have to get open, and they're gonna have to get open very quickly. Based on the pressure Baltimore brings, they're going to play a lot of cover 0 and cover 1. For me, I think the Bills, that could set up very good for them and also very bad. For me, Josh Allen, he has to be smart and quick with his decisions. He cannot play like the last minute we saw in Indy where he got into the hero ball mode, and we saw some stuff that could have cost him the game, that last play there. It will be a loss against this team. For me, the O-line needs to have the best game of the year right here. They have to keep Allen upright and give him time to make these decisions. We saw when he can sit back there what he can do. He's crushed a lot of teams, and he does crush teams on the move too. But this is not a team that is going to get to him and miss tackles. This is a team that is going to wrap him up and bring him to the ground consistently. They're a very well-coached team. Defensive coordinator Don Martindale, something like that. Something like that. I can't think of it right now. I'm drawing a blank. He is very good at what he does. He brings a lot of pressure. He plays one safety high in a cover 0 or cover 1. Also, I think the weather could play a factor in this game. We're supposed to get some snow. That's what I keep hearing. Or if the weather's not supposed to be great. Lamar was quoted this week. He's never played in the snow, and he doesn't want it to be the first game he plays in the snow this week. I think that's huge. And Buffalo D. They have to play lights out. They have to make good, solid, open field tackles. They cannot let the off tackle start to kill them, and they can't let these guys get around the corner. They're too fast. With that being said, something I think to keep an eye on, number 77 for Baltimore's offensive line, Ben Powers. He is their guy. He pulls quite a bit. He usually leads you to the play. I don't think Buffalo has the line to overpower these guys. Ed Oliver is going to have to jump in his pocket. He's going to have to stay on his hip and blow this play up in the backfield. They don't have the size up front to really combat them. Also, I think Buffalo on the defense side of the ball should and can play a lot of cover 1, cover 0 against this team. I don't think there's anyone that scares you. Trey White, he takes away Brown like it's nothing. I think Levi Wallace could do just as nice a job taking Brown away. So for me, the only thing that makes me nervous, I guess I would say, if you're going to worry about a receiving threat, is going to be Mark Andrews and that tight end core. They play really well. They tend to show up in a lot of big moments. I think with Milano healthy, a healthy Poyer, you know what I mean? Micah Hyde, I think they can take these guys away, and you don't have to worry about that so much. And last but not least, special teams. Both teams have very explosive special teams. Both teams have very good special teams for the most part. But Devin Duvernay, if you let this kid get the ball in open space, you're not going to tackle him. He's going to be gone. Bass is not going to save you. Borquez is not going to save you. He is going to be gone. Do not kick this kid the ball in the open field.
Yeah, obviously very nervous for this game no matter what, just being a Bills fan, and it's a playoff game, and it's gonna be close, but I'm taking the Bills. One thing I kind of want to talk about is last year's game. They played late in the season. I think the Bills kept it close, and I think the Ravens might have won by like a touchdown or maybe just a bit more than that. But my thing about that is the Bills can turn on that game and watch the Ravens offense and be like, it's pretty similar. I mean, the only guy that's really new that's going to be touching the ball is kind of J.K. Dobbins. Everyone else was kind of there last year, honestly. And Lamar's kind of doing the same shit he's been doing. Andrews is doing the same stuff. And like you said, that offense isn't dynamic. They're going to play slow. They're going to be methodical. They're going to run the football. You just can't let Lamar get outside. And I think that's going to be harped on by the Bills all week, and I don't think they're going to let it happen. And him throwing the ball this year, it hasn't been scary. I mean, early in the year, we've talked about it, and it was like, is this like Lamar now, or is he getting figured out? And he's, made adjustments, but it hasn't been against great teams that he's really had or good defenses, I should say, because he did play good against the Browns in that crazy Monday night game. But another thing is, guess what? The Ravens turn that game on and see that Bills offense might as well be the 1970 Bills, because this team is just completely different. They literally use a completely, honestly, different scheme. They throw the ball way more, and it's just basically Josh Allen versus this Ravens defense for me this game. And I think that looking at the numbers, as much as the Ravens blitz, he kind of loves playing against the blitz. He's doing, I've been telling you guys about this for the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's doing an amazing job, and it might be, you might not see it next year, it might be because of the limited crowd and the no crowds throughout the NFL, but he's just doing an amazing job checking things down at the line of scrimmage. I think he's going to have the protections there. This offensive line, I mean, you said that was one of your big keys. They have been pretty much, not perfect, but pretty darn close since the Pittsburgh game. I mean, they've been playing at a very elite level, giving this guy time, and hey, you said they're going to wrap him up and bring him down. Hey, let me put my fucking 6'5", 240 in you, and you see if you can bring it down. That's his game. It's Josh being Josh. It's always going to be like that. And I think that the Bills are just going to win. I think they're going to cover. Things that scare me, just Lamar, like just having one of those, crazy games, 150 rushes, a couple touchdowns, making a couple throws. Like, he can do it. He's an MVP. He's done it. But I just really trust the Bills' defense. And I think their offense is just completely different. I think this offense is better than the Ravens' offense. And it's crazy to say coming from what they had last year, but I Diggs versus, I always call him Lattimore, Humphrey.
Yep, Humphrey.
Is a nice matchup, I think, for the Bills. They really do. The way Diggs has been playing, Humphrey, we talked about it, one of the most targeted corners in the league. He's good, but is he elite like everyone says he is? I don't know.
He is elite. If you shoot 100 shots, you're gonna hit something.
Well, yeah, it's just interesting he gets targeted so much.
I think with what you're saying though right now too, for me, I went over this in my head quite a bit today. I think Diggs, no matter what, he takes Humphrey out the game. 50-50 battle there all game. For me, you got to put Peters on John Brown. So now you're leaving, what has been probably your most reliable target, Cole Beasley. I think Beasley's set up for a nice 6-7 reception day, 100 yards plus probably.
He's healthy, which they say he is.
I mean, he's a gamer no matter what. Healthy or not, I expect him to still go out there and give you everything he has every play, and I think that's what sets him apart from a lot of guys. And for me, Gabe Davis. I think they're going to try to put Jimmy Smith on him. And I really think that as a matchup, Gabe Davis can expose. I mean, Jimmy Smith, he's big, he's lengthy. Gabe Davis is big and lengthy. But for me, Jimmy Smith, if you watch him over the years, he really has sort of lost a step. Not that he's not good. He's still a very good corner in this league. But for me, he just sort of lost that step. Gabe Davis being the young guy he is with the springing and stuff that I've been seeing. I really think, the way he runs routes, he can beat Jimmy Smith easily one-on-one.
Another thing, you bring it up, kind of the 4 receivers, lets you know that the Bills are probably going to spread this ball out. And I think that's one of the best ways that they're going to be able to beat the Ravens. Also, what that does is huge. It eliminates Calais Campbell from getting a lot of snaps, and he's a very good player. Guess what Tennessee loves to do? Run the ball right down your throat. That's what they were unable to do last week. Run the ball down their throat. So I think just like even a guy like Campbell not really playing that many snaps is good. I'm sure he'll be down in like 3rd and shorts and some other sequences throughout the game, but taking snaps away from one of their better defensive players sounds great to me. Judon is a little banged up for them. Peters a little banged up, and before you got into Peters, I was gonna talk about that double moves, because that Allen versus him matchup is gonna be very interesting because he loves to pick the ball up, loves it. But guess what? He gets his jockstrap hanging out there once in a while too. So I'd look for Gabe Davis to be doing double moves on him, like you said, John Brown. But yeah, I mean, let's fucking go. Let's go. 1 game away from the AFC Championship, like I predicted, and probably rolling the ball out against whoever they play.
What do you got, Jake?
Greg asked one question on the Bills game before you go to the Browns question. Bills O-line versus the Ravens D-line. Who you got?
That's very hard to say because the Ravens D-line, you guys know they play a 3-4. For me, without Calais Campbell out there, I think the edge should go to the Bills line. I mean, we've seen them handle the Steelers' defense line with T.J. Watt, and obviously they didn't have Bush or Bud Dupree. But for me, I think the guys you really got to worry about are going to be Judon, Calais Campbell if he's in there, and like you said, if we can limit the snaps. So I'm going to say I think the Bills line up front should get the job done. It's not so much worrying about them, it's worrying about that extra guy they bring and Singletary or Knox being able to cover someone.
Or Yeldon.
Or Yeldon, you know what I mean? So I'm going to say the Bills O-line in a straight matchup. They're top 5 against the Bills top 5. I like the Bills offense line to get the job done.
My answer to that question is very simple. It might sound, stupid or whatever, but I just trust the Bills' cohesion on the offensive line that they've been showing, like I said, for the last, I think, 4 to 5 weeks. Like, they trust each other. Feliciano's got them playing for one another, you know what I mean? They're a team out there. It's them protecting the fucking number 17. That's their main goal out there. Every play, they're protecting 17. Obviously, run plays, you want Singletary to pop off, but I just think that they communicate very well. Their game plans have been very good. I mean, they shut out one of the best defensive ends, if not the best defensive end in the league, in Watt against Pittsburgh, and ever since then, there's really been not a lot of crazy mistakes.
I don't think they've made any flaws since then. Even last week, you know what I mean? I don't think they really made any huge mistakes.
Yeah.
The couple plays I've seen are almost on Josh where he should have gotten rid of it or, stepped up and go down, you know what I mean? You're putting yourself in a bad situation sometimes there. But does that answer your question, Greg? You got anything else back there, Jake?
Nothing.
Alright. We're going to hop on to this next game here then. It's going to be Sunday at 3:05 is kickoff. The Browns versus Kansas City. Kansas City's minus 10 in this matchup, and that is a lot of points. For me, I really do like the matchup in this game. It was very tough for me to pick, honestly. I'm sure all you guys listening and you guys, you might be listening like, what the fuck is this dude saying? Kansas City off a rest, 2 weeks to prepare. Andy Reid, it should be a no-brainer to take Kansas City. And I completely understand where you guys are coming from, and that's been going through my head. But for me, I mean, right now, this Browns running game has been one of the best we've seen in quite some time. They're going with a two-headed monster, a very aggressive, very big, very good offensive line. And Kansas City is another team where they really do have trouble stopping the run. We've seen a lot of teams this year have trouble stopping the run. And for me, you might game plan against that and slow it down a little bit. But what are you giving up on that back end now to stop that run? Because Baker's been playing lights out too. Jarvis Landry's been playing well. You know what I mean? Them guys are hitting on all cylinders over there too. For me, I love the Browns plus the 10 points. I really do. I don't think they're going to win the game. I like them plus the 10. And the reason Kansas City, I think, for me, wins the game is going to be the Browns secondary. The Browns D-line, I expect them to play well. I expect them to get at Mahomes and really shut down, any type of run game. I don't see that being a factor. For me, it's just going to be Pat Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback we might ever see. Travis Kelce, arguably the best tight end we might ever see, against a secondary that has been awful. So for me, Kansas City, they win this game, but I like the Browns plus the 10. I think they can slow the game down, as we've seen some teams do. Oakland did it this year. They slowed the game down. They took a few big shots when they could. They got them. They connected. The defense really stepped up for Oakland at times. I think if you sit back in zones and force this team to stay in front of you, can really slow them down. We saw the Bills do it. They sort of laid the blueprint to it, or built on the blueprint that Oakland laid. And, I mean, Andy Reid, he's one of the best coaches. He's probably going to go down in the top 10 of all time, if not top 5. One of the best offensive minds we'll probably ever see. Playing with a loaded deck like that, I know I'm combating myself here. I'm taking the Browns plus the 10. But Kansas City, I mean, is going to win this game. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that one either. I am taking the Browns. I love the underdog mentality this team has. You know what I mean? You hear about the COVID last week, this and that, and they just went out and mangled up Pittsburgh. I know the second half was the second half, but I mean, they beat them up pretty good. And this team reminds me of a team that went to the AFC Championship last year. I kind of compared them, and the Browns actually went out and whipped this team's ass this year, and that's the Titans. Except they don't have one good running back, they have 2. And they also have a quarterback that, hey, play action, things open up. No one trusts him. Everyone doubts this guy, and he can go out and he can make throws. You know what I mean? He's capable. Sometimes he doesn't do it, but I can definitely see Baker having a good game here, so I trust that. And for you bettors, the 10 points here, just let's look back at this season. Let's, you know what I mean, before you hit that button, hit send on that bet, let's think about how many times Kansas City has had those big lines and cost us late with, you know what I mean, with just careless plays and this and that. I think that's a big issue for them. I think that's, honestly, it's crazy to say it in the NFL, like one of the biggest leagues with the most parity, but they get bored. They really do. Maybe they don't in the playoffs. And like you said, the extra week of rest, I think that hurts them. I think they come out a little slow. Like you said, they can't stop the run. The only reason I don't think the Browns win this game outright is that defense, that secondary just...
That's what I mean, that secondary's bad.
But for you bettors, that if you do go with me and go with our hearts and our heads and our prediction, that you they have to win the time of possession battle.
Yeah.
They have to.
They have to win the time of possession by over 10 to 15
You know what I mean?
minutes.
Obviously, if you get big plays, those are big plays. You want those.
10 minutes is crazy, but I mean, if they could hit 10 minutes time of possession more than Kansas City, I think they win the game.
Jarvis Landry on slants, Hooper, and just small little runs, you know what I mean? And just pound the ball.
That was one of my points, too. I mean, this Browns team, they can go very big, very physical with the tight ends and still kill you in the pass game because their tight ends can all move. They're all vertical threats. You know, they're all very good players over there. They got 3 tight ends. And Hunter Bryant, the rookie, Njoku, who all year has wanted to trade, wanted this, wanted that, will come out and prove himself in the playoffs. Austin Hooper, who over the last 3 weeks has exploded onto the scene. I think he's got a touchdown in every game, if I'm not mistaken. You know, 3 to 4 or 5 grabs a game.
He was really good in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know he was. When he's featured, the kid can play. So, I mean, don't be surprised if they go big and try to run the ball over this line or expose them linebackers that Kansas City does not really have.
Yeah, and I mean, could this game, and we could be sounding complete idiots, could this game be 38-10 Kansas City and Mahomes throws for
100%.
Yes, and we know that, but just the way it looks on paper and what we think, I just think this run game is going to be a little bit too much for the Chiefs. It's hard to stop. Chubb's had an unbelievable year. Hunt's had an unbelievable year. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they've been a good team. I think they're a good NFL team this year, the Browns. Everyone takes them as a joke, but I definitely love them +10.
Yep. On to the last game here. For me, I don't really have a whole lot on this game. I love the over bet of 52 on this game. Just give you guys something to look at there. But for me, Peyton, he's going to outcoach Arians. That's how this game's going to be told. I don't see that high-powered Bucs offense really doing much against this defense. This defense is a top-caliber team. They're very good. They're very well coached. You know, and Kamara, I expect Kamara to go off just, you know, like he normally does, a week of rest. Drew Brees, most of the time after any rest, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said a week of rest. That's Green Bay. I apologize. Drew Brees, though, off that rest that he had a couple weeks ago, you know, usually he plays well over the next couple games. For me, the Bucs do have some young, hungry players over there, but I expect Michael Thomas to win almost every ball thrown his way if they leave Carlton Davis on him. You know, the quick slants are something that can hurt this Bucs team. Then they're dropping guys back in coverage, and now you're playing right into the Saints' hands because now they're able to run the ball at you. This is a very good front seven for the Bucs, though. I think Devin White sort of does have to be careful with Jared Cook there. Jared Cook, even though he's older, still is a very good tight end in this league for what he's worth. Kamara on screens out the backfield if you're biting too hard, you know what I mean? This is a young Tampa Bay defense, too. They are well coached with Bowles, but I just think that every coach on New Orleans sideline is better than the coach there across them.
Okay, I could see the coaching coming into play, but...
And I'm taking the Saints -3.
Yeah, I don't love this pick. I really don't. But it's just in my heart of hearts, and I can't go, again, against a guy I hate, but Tom Brady. I'll get into that in a second. The old saying, though, is it's tough to beat a team twice, and it's goddamn hard to beat them 3 times. They've killed them in the regular season, I understand that, and that's kind of why, you know, a little bit of reverse psychology. I think that I trust Brady more than Breeze. I trust the offensive weapons more for Tampa Bay. The receivers, obviously, I'm talking about. Kamara is obviously Kamara, but I mean, they've had 2 times now to watch on tape what Kamara does well. They got Ndamukong Suh. They got pieces on that D-line, JPP, to stop the run. And I think that, like you said, they got a good coach in Bowles. and it's playoffs. I think it's going to be a close game. I like the 3 points, but I just think that Brady is Brady, and I think they're going to put up points against this good Saints defense, and that's what the Saints really rely on, getting turnovers, good field position from their defense, and I just don't know if it happens in this game, so I'm rolling with Tampa.
All right. And that's all I got for you guys. You got anything else you want to?
No, not much else on this game. I just think it all comes down to the Bucs defense and how they play. If they can play solid and stop the run, like I said, then I think Tampa could not only cover but win.
I do have one question for you here, Trace. With the signing today of Urban Meyer to the Jags, is there any way Urban Meyer messes up this one pick and takes Fields out of the Ohio State connection there?
No, because I'm sure they asked him before he got hired that there's just no way.
And do Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer paired together in the NFL scare you at all?
Scare me? No.
You no fear at all?
I mean, Urban Meyer's good at X and O's, but I think he's a recruiter. I think this is going to be a 2 to 3 year journey, and he's going to get canned, to be honest.
Okay.
That's just my take. Could go the other way, I mean, if they get talented enough, but again, it's going to come down to another thing I thought of, like Florida. Yes, it's nice, it's sunny, but you go and play in front of a stadium with 35, 40,000 people in it, half empty, and you don't win games. I just don't think. It's almost like a Cleveland type situation or a Buffalo in the past, where you got to have like the perfect hire almost to get the rebuilding process going, because it's so hard to get players there.
Well, I mean, Trevor Lawrence certainly don't hurt.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's going to be a good NFL quarterback, and they do have good wide receivers, but that defense really needs a lot of repairing. And I don't know. It could work, but like I said, I just think he's more of a recruiting mind than a football mind. And like I said, in my opinion, I know he's won everywhere he's gone, but this is the NFL. You got Bobby Petrino, you got Pete Carroll the first time, who did not win.
Right, Nick Saban.
Nick Saban. He, two of those guys, 2 of the 3 guys didn't even last a year.
Right.
Not a good track record there.
Yeah, that's all I really got. I mean, going forward, we'll start getting more into the draft and what we think teams need with the season coming down to an end, and just carrying this out over the course. And
yeah, well, just other sports too. We're gonna get.
I was just about to say, people probably don't know. You're doing you did a podcast last night by yourself, just covering the Sabres. You said every 2 games you're gonna hop on there and cover them again. So that's even if you only follow us on here, hop on Need a Miracle Sports and Gambling. He'll do his Sabres ones, and I'll hop on there too. We'll get moving, more maybe a little bit NCAA.
Yeah.
I'm realizing with NCAA, you see something you like, and you feel that team's trending up. They probably are. Lock it in, live bet them one.
March Madness is coming up.
Yeah, we got March Madness coming up.
A lot of stuff, and this is all basically, I told him, I know it sounds crazy because we're only on 36. This is all practice for us until we get to about episode 1,000, really. I mean, we're going to try different stuff. We're going to do live stuff, and, a model we like to, not copy, but you see it out there. It's like a Barstool type or a Pat McAfee show, and I get a lot of my ideas and little stuff like that from that. But to cover what you were saying a little bit more too, the hockey stuff is going to be every 2 games. The way the Corona has affected the NHL schedule, every 2 games they get a little break. So instead of busting my ass and fitting in everything, I'm going to do 2-game recaps every whatever. The 2 games are up. I don't know if I'm going to do it that night, the day after, whatever, but I'll fit it in. That's another thing, too. I got to be honest. The reason we haven't really done other sports yet, and we're starting out, we both got full-time jobs, as you know. Both, work a fairly, he works way more overtime than me, and I work a fairly semi-overtime schedule. It's just hard. Think about it. You go about your lives, and just think your time of day. And in a week, you got to cover 16 games a week for 17 weeks. It's not easy.
Well, I'm trying to put in, the NHL, NBA, they play, 2-3 games a week.
And don't get me wrong, I love doing it. I love.
Yeah, it's
one of my favorite.
It's just we want to give you guys quality and not just quantity. So when we do it, it's something that we can cover and make sure we have at least amplitude of knowledge on it, and we can give you a legit answer on how we feel. You know what I mean? If we try to cover every NBA game, there's just no way. If we see something we like that day, we'll let you guys know about it.
And there could be a time where that does, if we get more followers and everything goes the way that I envision it, he envisioned it, and we, keep having more success, that could happen. We open the show up a few more days, whatever. But yeah, like I said, it's just, like, it felt so weird to do 4 games. I kept like going like this,
Right.
looking for the other games, because there's 4
And
games left.
I mean, I'm sure you guys listening at home could see, our notes were a lot longer. We were able to get into more detail with it, and we're still running almost on the same time as a whole show. So just with the last games, bear with us. We're gonna try to put out the best product we can with the most knowledge we can. We're not just gonna throw bullshit at the wall and hope it sticks.
And please, if you're gonna follow any of the social media or YouTube or whatever, please do Twitter, because I'm pretty much on there daily. Either quote tweeting other gambling people and putting my input on that. Talking about the Bills and Sabres all the time. NBA news, NFL, that's like my place where it's very easy. There's a lot of information on there. I can get it to you very quickly, very easily. We put the podcast on there and everything, so it's just kind of the best platform for me to get all the stuff out to you.
Jake, you got anything back there?
No.
Alright, and I mean, that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for us.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, go Bills. Say your Hail Marys and prayers, and let's go to the AFC Championship game. This has been your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast. Have a good night.
See ya.